From Park Center High School in Brooklyn Park, Abe doesn't think we're smiling enough. So we're going to brighten your day with high school girls basketball. Tonight, the #2 team in Class 4A, the undefeated Wayzata Trojans, take on the Park Center Pirates, a team that has proven their resilience throughout the season. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Peden, joined by LaToya Turk. Abe, are we happy enough for you? He says we are, and why wouldn't we be happy with a matchup like this?
Absolutely. We got two great teams here who are undefeated in their conference. We have a Wayzata team that runs really deep and a Park Center team that's led by Sommer Blakemore. This is going to be an exciting game.
And Wayzata is all smiles, as we noted, undefeated at 17-0, coming off a huge win over Hopkins last Friday where they switched to the 2-3 zone, came back from 15 down, but this has been a building process. Wayzata, they've won 20 games or more over the last couple of years, so the Trojans are no fluke, and after that win over Hopkins, they could be a serious contender in the 4A state tournament bracket.
Absolutely. Not could be. They are going to be a serious contender, and it'll be interesting to see how they all continue to flow, and they're all going to be coming back next year, so we get to see them for one more season together. But I'm interested to see what Park Center has to be able to curb all of the depth that Wayzata is going to present tonight.
Park Center doesn't have much size since Michaela Hayes graduated and moved to Florida, but as LaToya noted, they do have Sommer Blakemore. Meghan DuBois provides another beacon of leadership, and Adalia McKenzie has given them a dose of athleticism, and she's only a freshman.
Oh, absolutely. So like I said, this is going to be an exciting game to see if Park Center is going to take it off the bounce, or they're going to if Wayzata is going to go to that 2-3 zone again, and they're going to make some long-range shots here.
And whether they go zone or man-to-man, Wayzata has depth on their side. Kallie, Theisen, Jenna Johnson, the Schrader triplets, they have a lot of ways they can beat you.
Absolutely. I'm just ready for the game to start.
Well, we're all ready for the game to start, and we'll make sure we stay happy throughout so that Abe remains pleased with us. We'll have the tip-off in a moment. You're watching high school girls basketball. And with that, let's take a look at the starting five for the visiting Wayzata Trojans. You'll see Kallie Theisen, number 21, the junior. Jenna Johnson, number 22, the freshman. Jasmine Smiley, number 23, the sophomore. Annika Stewart, number 30, the sophomore. And Mimi Schrader, one of the Schrader triplets, number 42, the junior. Park Center will start Sommer Blakemore, number 4, the senior. Charo Nickens, number 12, the senior. Lauren Frost, number 13, a sophomore. Meghan DuBois, number 21, a senior. And Adalia McKenzie, number 25, a freshman. And going back to LaToya's point in the open, you look at Wayzata's varsity roster, no seniors among them, so they are not going to lose anyone to graduation. And as you noted, already a force to be reckoned with. It's likely going to come down to Wayzata and Hopkins in Section 6 for the right to go to state, but Wayzata with that big statement win, and even last year, they came close to upsetting Hopkins. They got hot from three-point range. Hopkins was able to win it out in the end, but those two teams will likely play each other 3 times.
Right. Those are great matchups to see those two teams go at it. I think this Wayzata team, they're a very smart team. There's no super athlete on this team. As you see in the Hopkins lineup, there are super athletes out there at Hopkins, but this team is just very smart, and they've played together for quite some time. They played together in the off season, so they've had time to fine-tune what they're working with here.
And as Mike Schumacher, the head coach, told me, that's exactly the formula for Wayzata success. They played together for a while. Kallie, Theisen, part of that Crossfire Theisen group. So this unit, highly familiar with each other. And he said even that year they went 3-23, bit of a misnomer, because the following year they went back to the section final.
Right.
They were in another section that year, I believe section 5, but the Trojans are ready to make a splash after being the bridesmaid to Hopkins for the last couple of years. And
right.
for Park Center, they're currently 9-5. Right now, they are the 4 seed in Section 5 4A. And as usual, Section 5 has a bevy of quality contenders. Champlain Park, they picked up a lot of big wins. Roseville and Centennial are the top 2 seeds based on QRF, but Roseville beating Centennial at the Holiday Tournament. Depending on how those two end the season, that could have some sway when the coaches seed that group.
Absolutely. That's a great win for Roseville, and I hope that the coaches, when they're voting, they take note of that there was a win over Centennial.
Well, remember, they still have to get through, and if Roseville in that tough Suburban East Conference, Centennial in the Northwest Suburban, and this Park Center team, 5-0 in the West Division in the Northwest Suburban. Their only conference loss was to Centennial.
And Centennial's on the other side of that conference.
The North.
You're right.
And overall, I think a lot of folks thought Park Center might drop off after the senior trio of Michaela Hayes, Ann Simonet, and Danielle Schaub graduated, and here they are.
Right.
Still a contender.
Right.
And on top of that, Chris Vanderhyde, the former head coach, he went back to the MIAC. Barb Metcalf took his place, but Metcalf no stranger to coaching as Wayzata wins the tip. Here is Mimi Schrader. She fires the mid-range J, that's short. Now, how does Park Center compensate for the lack of size against Wayzata?
Box out. Box out. Strong box out.
You know, you're the second person that responded to me with that answer.
Yeah.
I once asked that of Nneka Agumake in the 2016 finals, and she just said box out.
Yeah.
I need to make things more simple. Apparently, I'm making them too complicated for everybody.
Basketball comes to fundamentals and repetition.
There's a high-low play coming up with a block is Jenna Johnson. She almost loses the ball, needs help, finds Theisen, weaves through and scores.
And we see Wayzata going right away to this 2-3 zone.
That 2-3 zone was their ticket to success in Friday's win over Hopkins. And it's a great strategy against more athletic teams.
Absolutely.
And that's not to say Wayzata isn't athletic, but you know Hopkins likes to run at you. Park Center, they're a team that likes to pick up the tempo, so that 2-3 zone,
right,
to slow them down. But Park Center just as feisty on the defensive side. McKenzie with the steal. Will she go all the way? Too strong. Comes up soft on the putback attempt. Rebound goes to Schrader. Schrader, the lob, pass deflected by DuBois.
When this Wayzata's team is running their transition offense, you can see the that they've played together for a while. They're looking for each other. They're running the lanes. They look really well together.
Wayzata took too long for the inbound, so Park Center will take over.
I think it was an offensive foul.
All right, or an offensive foul. Well, that's why we have folks like LaToya who can scope things that I miss. The foul is charged to Theisen first. Here's McKenzie. Barb Metcalf really likes her athleticism. Blakemore can shoot threes, bullseye.
And that's one way to get them out of that zone.
Sharpshooters can be a great asset if they're knocking them down, and Blakemore, that's going to be a foul. She came down on Schrader's arm. You seem a little perplexed by that.
Yeah, she bailed her out there. She picked up her dribble, and I've watched Sommer play over the summer with her AAU team, and she's known for playing pretty tight defensively.
Blakemore hit a game-winning shot a couple years ago when Park Center played Elk River. Here's Johnson. She's fouled from behind. She'll shoot 2.
So I think at that time there were 3 Park Center defenders coming over. You have to make the decision if you're going to collapse and cut that baseline off, or you're going to trap, or the initial person's going to cut the baseline off, but someone's got to do something.
Jenna Johnson, the quiet performer, in the words of Mike Schumacher. Tenacious rebounder, can score inside and out, and that versatility is something you're going to hear a lot about with the Wayzata players when you talk to Schumacher.
Absolutely.
Wayzata, the number 2 team in Class 4A. Park Center, right around the top 10. McKenzie was blocked by Stewart. 3 on the way. That goes over the backboard. Dead ball rebound to the Pirates. And Wayzata hasn't blown out anyone per se, the way Hopkins or Centennial did against Park Center a little while ago, but 17-0, look at their list of wins. Lakeville North, that one in overtime in the Tip-Off Classic. We mentioned Hopkins. They beat Holy Angels at the Hill Murray tournament. Holy Angels, the number 2 team in 3A, traveling violation on McKenzie. And they're coming off a decisive 14-point win over St. Michael Albertville.
Yeah.
They knocked off Moorhead, the team with Sam Hybe, Maple Grove. Need I go on?
And these are all games that they didn't necessarily have the lead in the games, but they just don't give up. And they make adjustments very easily.
McKenzie times the pass. Goodbye. And there's a dose of the athleticism Metcalf was talking about. Mimi Schrader ends up throwing it away. Wayzata right back at it. And Schrader misses the layup. Theisen underneath, and she'll shoot 2.
We could tell that was coming by the position that she was in.
But how about that recovery for the Trojans?
Absolutely, always being aware.
You mentioned Nickens picks up the foul. You mentioned the camaraderie, the chemistry. Their ability to bounce back after losing the ball is demonstrative of that familiarity.
Right.
Kallie Theisen, a super hard worker. She'll probably get a D1 offer or 2. Misses both free throws though. Blakemore goes up too strong, and both teams are a little tense, if that's the right word.
It looks.
That long 2 is no good from Schrader. Park Center trying to go transition. Blakemore pulls up off the rim, and the rebound goes to Johnson. There's Smiley. Smiley to Johnson. Off to Stewart. High low for Theisen. She missed again. Gets her own rebound.
She's working hard down there. She was being fronted. The double came over. She put the shot up and still got her own rebound.
Mike Schumacher wasn't kidding when he said Kallie was a super hard worker. There's the zone again. Nice bounce pass. Nickens gets inside. The high-low pays off for the Pirates. And that pass is incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down and 10. Now we have a little more than 10 seconds to go.
She saw her receiver going long. She saw her receiver going long.
Now I want to ask you, did you lose your voice after Sunday's wild finish?
Oh my goodness.
Abe said he re-aggravated an injury of his amidst the celebration. How about you?
Oh my god, I was in the car listening to it via third party when it happened. And so I didn't get excited until after I was able to see the play.
I saw it firsthand, and I was stunned. I did not see that coming. Tanae Griffin on the floor for the Pirates, number 20. Wayzata throws it away again.
Thomas knew what she wanted to do. It was happening faster than what the ball was coming to her.
And here's Aaliyah Regulin, number 2 for the Pirates. Wayzata, though, unforced turnovers on back-to-back possessions. Unforced errors, I should say. You don't want to see that. Regulin. Lost the ball. This reminds me of Holy Angels Hutchinson in the sense that both teams are making the other uncomfortable defensively.
Right. And you got to remember, we still have young players out here on both sides.
Indeed, no seniors for the Trojans, even though they played together for a while. And Park Center, new identity after the triplets of Hayes, Simonette, and Daniel Schaub graduated. Schaub playing at Concordia St. Paul, Michaela Hayes playing at Florida, and Ann Simonette playing at UND. Jump ball, Pirates with the possession arrow. That
help side defense is going to be an absolute must tonight for this game for Park Center. One thing with Wayzata is that their post players can take the lob, and so fronting doesn't always necessarily prevent that pass going into the lane. But if help side defense is there.
Pirates have won 3 in a row, beating Armstrong, Totino, Grace, and Irondale. Armstrong had to sweat that one out. Totino, Grace, and Irondale, more convincing wins. Lost a close one with St. Michael Albertville. And they did beat Maple Grove, who is on the cusp of the top 10 in Class 4A. So the Pirates, even without the size they used to have, they've been in a lot of close ones. At the Holiday Invitational that they've hosted, they had 1 possession losses to both Cretin-Durham Hall and Minnetonka. Pulling up from 17 and getting a friendly bounce is Jasmine Smiley. Eight to 7, Trojans lead. DuBois over to Regulin. Pirates taking their time. McKenzie got open for a minute. Here's Griffin. Goes back to McKenzie. And she got bumped by Molly Thompson, fouling the Trojans.
And for what I'm seeing, this Park Center team, they're fairly used to getting their shots off pretty quick. And I'm going to say pretty quick if we were using the shot clock. And there's no shot clock here, but making them slow down and actually run their offense is going to be a plus for Wayzata.
Barb Metcalf calls timeout, and it's fortuitous that you mentioned a shot clock because where Metcalf came from, West Fargo, North Dakota, has had a shot clock for the last several years. She and I talked about that. You know, Minnesota, there's always been talks about it, but not a lot of action due to cost, operator error, and other things. You know, in her view, having the shot clock when she coached at West Fargo in North Dakota, said it added an element of strategy because teams had to manage possessions, and she feels in some ways it might even help her Pirates if we had it here because, you know, North Dakota, they use a 30-second clock. You can manage the clock more effectively. So sometimes I like our team to wait 30 seconds or about that long before taking a shot. Well, I know you played without one, and then you did play with one at Kent State.
Right.
And are the cheerleaders?
Yes.
Are you worried one of them's going to fall or something?
Yes, I am. Working trauma for 8 years and seeing a cheerleader slip.
Well, if something happens, at least we do have a certified trauma nurse, so you'll be able to render assistance, I presume.
Oh, goodness.
Let's hope you don't have to.
Right.
But I was going to say, you played with and without a shot clock. What was the difference between the two?
Playing with a shot clock, it speeds the game up. And you have to think, every possession you're thinking. Nice rebounding for Park Center.
And one! Adalia McKenzie with a chance for 3.
And I think in boys basketball, they call that a tip. She caught it, didn't come down, went right back up.
I like to see more of that. You see a lot of girls and a lot of athletes, they'll clutch the ball, bring it back down. You only give more time for your defenders to compensate.
Right.
If you've got it, go right back up.
Yep.
If you know you're in position. Even though McKenzie missed the free throw, you have to like that tenacity. So it's 9-8. We've been going back and forth here in the opening minutes. And there's Ella Schrader. She'll see action off the bench. And Kallie Theisen beats a double team and scores another layup.
Got to be careful getting caught on the back of those post players down there. And for the most part, it looks like Park Center was prepared for this 2-3. They just need to clean up the offense here.
Well, they've had a half season now to get accustomed to Barb Metcalf, and DuBois almost lost track of the ball.
Nice
What
slip.
a recovery.
Nice slip.
Tanae Griffin, whose mother was a conference rival of yours back at Roosevelt, gets the bucket. Had to get that plug in. I'm sure her mother will be proud. Wayzata missing the layup. Theisen has the rebound. She's in trouble. And couldn't break free.
Park Center is squeezing him on the defense.
Blakemore and Nickens return to the floor for the Pirates. Now, you did have a chance to see this Wayzata team when they knocked off Roseville. They had a strong first half. Roseville was able to make a game of it in the second. What was the secret to Wayzata's win in that one, if you recall?
You know, they have their bench is so deep that they can just keep the rotation going. And there were a couple of players that got hot, and it's just one of those nights.
And much like folks have noted this in the case of UConn for the college game, you know, you've seen Hopkins as Tanae Griffin hits the elbow J.
And Tanae has a really nice mid-range shot, too. We see here comes the press.
Wayzata having trouble. Well, Park Center can't force a turnover, but they do get the deflection, so Wayzata will have to settle for a side out. But Hopkins, they've been so successful for so long. You probably remember the three-peat. There's a 5-second violation.
I love good defense.
I don't think you're alone. But, you know, schools like Wayzata this year, Minnetonka and Elk River a year ago in the state tournament. Hopkins has been so good for so long, and while you can't recruit in high school the same way you can in college,
right.
I think you're seeing some other teams working at catching up to them.
Right.
Because there was a time where we thought Hopkins was going to ride through 4A unscathed for years, if not decades.
Right.
And we've seen Elk River with that improbable undefeated run. Minnetonka a couple of years ago. Wayzata picking up that win against them on Friday. Other teams have slowly stepped up their game, and you know, not every team's going to be able to compete with the likes of Hopkins and Wayzata, but you're seeing a more competitive 4A field.
Yep.
Park Center with another steal. 3 on the way. Swish!
Booyah!
And Park Center's not backing down from this undefeated team. Wayzata throws it away, and then a foul is called. It will go against Smiley. Park Center playing in-your-face defense, and Wayzata overwhelmed right now. Mike Schumacher calling a timeout, and I don't blame him.
I think when you're looking at your program and you're trying to build a program, it starts well before the October girls basketball start date. And so when you put a little bit of time and planning into the development of your players, you get results like what they're getting out of Hopkins.
And Park Center having some success as well. They won 2 titles in 3A, including that triple overtime thriller against Marshall. And then they won the rematch a year later. Got to the state tournament the last 2 years in 4A. They lost to Eastview in overtime in the quarterfinals last year, and then Drew Hopkins the prior year. But winning those state tournaments, even if it hasn't brought them, you know, the same level of banners as other schools, I mean, that has brought a sturdy reputation where even with this small team, Kind of reminds you of Como Park 2 years ago.
Right.
They're gritty, and they're giving Wayzata a real tough test here.
And there's pride, you know, it gives your players pride.
Still a long way to go, of course. Ragulin having trouble. Wayzata,
and she's handling that ball very well. I think she's just a sophomore, right?
Wayzata switching up to the man now, and a foul was called on Kayla Cox. So we're going to see how Park Center handles the man-to-man defense.
Take her off the bounce.
Less than 8 minutes to play in the first. Pirates up 16-10. Johnson dumps it off to Olivia Arnbeck. Arnbeck trying to drive.
And Wayzata's not a bang type of team.
Another turnover, but McKenzie wasn't in good position, able to save it. She's open, short on the three though. Missed opportunity for the Pirates there. Smiley off balance. That's tough. Park Center trying to go outlet. Kallie Theisen too smart for that. Now Wayzata has numbers. Jenna Johnson with the easy two. That's her first field goal. Now Wayzata. Well, that man-to-man defense paying dividends here.
Right.
I think you see their, at least the last couple of possessions, in better position to time those passes.
Right, right. And for the first half, they were playing that zone. So this young Park Center team, they've been used to being in more of that relaxed zone, and now it's that in-your-face man. They're going to need to make the adjustment.
Blakemore for three. That looks short, and it is. Interesting that Park Center's going to the outside. Theisen will shoot free throws. Foul will go against Nickens. Last to give for the Pirates. And when these athletes aren't competing on the court, several of them are in the school choir, and they will be taking part in an upcoming Feed My Starving Children charity project.
That's nice.
In the weeks to come. And they were all doing their homework when I was talking with Michael Schumacher. He said this is a Wayzata team that doesn't take a day off on the court with their studies or just about anything else they do.
That's always nice to see as a coach. Student athletes.
Blakemore drains the runner.
Most of the time, if your players are academically sound and smart in the classroom, it translates onto the court as well.
Well, and Barb Metcalf had a good point when I talked to her about some of the things these athletes do, and you could say the same for Wayzata. You know, your grades have to be at a certain threshold in order to participate.
Right. And this freshman today, Griffin, is all over. She's got to get that timing down on those passes, but she's working the middle. As much as she does not want to be in the post, she's playing excellent defense down in that paint.
And I was going to say, very rarely in my history of covering girls basketball have I come across a coach that had to avoid some sort of academic issue. You know, everyone I've talked to, almost nothing but praise for how these students tackle schoolwork. Jenna Johnson gets a friendly bounce, makes it a 2-point game again. And drawing the foul is Meghan DuBois. DuBois, speaking of involvement, here's a short list of what she does. She's a member of the senior class cabinet. She's been a link leader for the last couple of years. So being a mentor to the younger students here at Park Center. And she's also a member of the National Honor Society.
That's amazing.
She'll be joining her former teammate Danielle Schaub next year at Concordia St. Paul.
Great job for her.
Foul on the Pirates. That'll send the Trojans to the line for 1-1. Molly Thompson to the line. Thompson averaging 4 points off the bench. Even though this is one of the more coveted matchups of the week, this is a game that is a testament to balance, because compared to Stillwater, where Sarah Scalia, one of the leading scorers in the state, nobody on either side is averaging more than 14 points a game.
Great. I think Sommer Blakemore is averaging right around the 11, 12-point average for Park Center.
And Theisen, Wayzata's leading scorer at 14. DuBois, Park Center's at 14. So these are two teams that have a lot of options to complete their objective, and more free throws coming for Jenna Johnson. And we've noted this throughout the season, and we'll see how this plays out. Against teams like Park Center or Tartan, teams that play that faster tempo, it can leave them more foul prone.
Right. Right. Use your feet, not your hands. Cut the baseline off. Don't reach.
Something that I hope Alexis Gray Lawson has been instilling at Como Park. I still can't get over the 2-hour marathon. Jenna Johnson knocks down both free throws. Wayzata takes their first lead in a while. They're 8 of 10 from the line. Blakemore fires. Gets her own rebound. And I notice right now Park Center struggling to get inside a little bit. They're settling for runners.
Right.
And Wayzata able to get that inside penetration.
Thinking that man-to-man, if you can't just flat out beat them on the drive, move the ball, just like what Wayzata is doing right now. They're swinging the ball, moving the ball.
Theisen double team. That means somebody's open. Swish. Annika Stewart. Annika Stewart with the first field goal. Mike Schumacher told me Annika Stewart is whatever you need her to be. That's the role she'll take on.
That's nice. And when having her and Theisen down there, they definitely can play a nice high-low. It's almost like pick your poison.
Cox to Griffin. She's bumped. Can't bank it in. McKenzie. Gutsy move. She was right underneath and perhaps anticipating a foul, and she got it.
Right. Now let's knock these free throws down.
The foul is the third on Molly Thompson. Even though she's a bench player, that's not what you want to see if you're Mike Schumacher. And Adalia McKenzie didn't play last year. Of course, she's a freshman, so that's probably why. And so unheralded in that sense, and here she is, perhaps being a centerpiece of Park Center's future. Somebody who can give Barb Metcalf an identity of sorts. Metcalf came over to Park Center after her husband got a promotion. He works for Lino Lakes, or the Land O'Lakes company. And Barb Metcalf wanted a school that was similar in
right
design
down the middle. Right.
To West Fargo, and she got it in Park Center. And Park Center, of course, needing a coach with Chris Vanderheide going back to college. Theisen fouled, she'll shoot 2.
That was really nice. You have your post player bringing the ball up the floor, looking for her other counterpart who activated into her sprint. And they weren't afraid to make that pass. There were 2 Park Center players there. That's not something that just happened yesterday.
No, Kallie Theisen, 6'2", missing the front end. Scored a season-high 30 in Wayzata's win over Maranatha Christian Academy. That's been a series of sorts that those two have enjoyed. Theisen gets the back end, and Wayzata up by 3. And they're getting it done from the line, 9 of 12. Park Center just 2 of 5. Less than 3 minutes to play in the first. Trojans lead by 3. Wayzata gets the steal. Johnson underneath. And they're going to get her on the offensive foul.
I saw it coming.
You saw it coming, and it's unfortunate because
she was going to get bailed out.
Yeah. She's right. She was in a good position.
Yep.
What are you doing? But we play on.
Yes.
3 on the way. Unable to hit it. There, Griffin can't get the putback, and Park Center, they've had a little bit of trouble with those.
And they're having a little trouble after an event happens, the standing and watching. I like to see them react a little better, a little quicker.
Theisen missing a couple of bunnies. Here comes McKenzie. Weaves through Stewart, no good. Griffin is fouled, she'll shoot 2.
Griffin and McKenzie are going to be great for this program.
What is it with this play down low?
Weight room. Weight room.
I don't know if the man-to-man defense is getting to both teams, but I've seen some difficulty converting those points in the paint. And
Abe made a good point. The angles, their angles are bad too.
Right. I mean, how many times have I mentioned in broadcast someone's too far underneath?
Yeah.
Or a harsh angle. You don't want to be right underneath the basket. You want to be just off to the side so you can get that trajectory. But
and that comes with repetition too. And then you know where you're at underneath the goal and how you need to turn your body.
Griffin missing both free throws.
Nothing a few Mikan drills can't fix.
Backdoor, Theisen with the finish. She's not going to miss that one.
No.
Theisen up to 11. Trojans have their largest lead of the game at 5. It's a 15-4 run for the Trojans. Blakemore can't break it with the 3. McKenzie is there for the O-board. Draws a foul again, although Park Center having some difficulties at the line.
Right.
So if you're Wayzata, not that you want to accumulate a bunch of fouls, but right now you can live with it.
Right.
Kind of reminds me of Como Park in that game with Matamidai.
And Park Center's doing a good job of offensive rebounds as well.
Adalia McKenzie averaging 11.6 as a freshman. And Park Center, no stranger to the inclusion of freshmen in their group. It was Michaela Hayes, Faye Obama-Deli, Simonette, and Daniel Schaub responsible for that triple overtime thriller against Marshall 4 years ago. In fact, they needed those freshmen to step up because Kayla McMorris fouled out of the game before the overtime sessions.
Right. That was great help right there from Park Center. McKenzie saw that.
What's the call going to be?
She's shooting 2.
They're going to call it a blocking foul.
McKenzie saw that Griffin was pinned, and she went right over and helped her and got that steal, and this is where we end up at.
And the foul's the second on Schrader, and even though McKenzie was going full speed, I did see Schrader shuffle her feet a little bit. McKenzie splits again, so Park Center inching back slowly, but I think they'd like to be a little more efficient from the line, but they get another steal. And this is where Park Center thrives. McKenzie pulls up.
Too strong.
Wayzata with a chance to run. Schrader no good. And McKenzie's got it. She's in trouble, finds Blakemore. What do the Pirates decide to do here? Do they hold for the final shot, or do they go for it if they see an opening?
And I think Blakemore knows that. She, over the summer, she actually plays point guard on her AAU team, Minnesota Fury. So these situations she understands.
Park Center going to milk the clock.
They can actually open it up for her and let her go one-on-one here.
Wayzata showing the 2-1-2.
If Tanae would get out the lane.
Park Center biding their time.
Set a pick.
This is something that they couldn't do if they were in North Dakota. Blakemore takes it herself. I don't know if that's the idea they wanted, and Wayzata just going to run out the clock. And a bit of a strange ending to this first half. We've seen a lot of craziness, but Wayzata does have a 25-22 lead as we enter intermission.
Yes. The defense from Park Center was better than what I expected it to be, but Wayzata handled it very well. It'll be interesting to see what they come out. We've seen them play their zone. We've seen them play their man-to-man. Their posts seem to be dominating offensively. We haven't seen a lot of outside shooting from Wayzata, but whatever's working, that's what you go with.
We'll take a break and come back with the second half. You're watching high school girls basketball. Wayzata leads Park Center 25-22. Well, LaToya's liking the music selection here in Brooklyn Park. Admittedly, I do not have much knowledge of what has been played.
This would be Slippery by the Migos, and this is one of my workout songs.
You're going to have to take me to school over the summer and get me up to speed on some of the urban music scene.
I gotcha.
Wayzata leads Park Center 25-22. Kallie Theisen leads all scores with 11. And Jenna Johnson has 8. Those are your notables for the Trojans. The rest of the team is just 6. For Park Center, Adalia McKenzie has 7. Sommer Blakemore has 5. But the second half may come down to who does a better job of finishing down low.
And the free throw line, too. Like you said, we've seen a lot of bad angles and shots thrown up underneath that basket. Easy buckets, open buckets. And so I agree with you. Finishing underneath.
Wayzata looking to stay undefeated. And if they can get through Park Center, well, they'll get Hopkins again, and then they have a pair of games with Minnetonka, including next Friday's match at home. But they'll face Hopkins again. You know Hopkins will want payback.
Absolutely.
They'll end the season against Minneapolis South, and I see you have someone fetching you drinks.
Fetching drinks, but no change. How does that work?
Sounds like your daughter. Well, your daughter, I think your daughter's a hustler.
As she pulls out the other treats that she grabbed from concessions.
So back to action here. And Park Center, look out. They're going to call the foul on McKenzie. And they had just tipped the inbound pass in, so unfortunate break for the Pirates. Again, they have that heads-up defense that has flustered Wayzata on several occasions in the first half. And again, this is not a Wayzata team that blows out opponents. They've had to grind out every single win. And it's important to remember that even though Wayzata beat Hopkins and they beat a bevy of other top teams, there's a long way to go to sections, and that was not a great pass.
Yeah, that was a miscommunication there. She was asking for the lob. It took a little too long.
Johnson bumped from behind. Nothing called. She got blocked by Charo Nickens. Blakemore doesn't see a lane. She'll kick out to DuBois. DuBois goes through the hole, and
Johnson's right there.
We welcome you to this game of hot potato.
This is how it started the first half.
Blakemore, deep three, too deep. And it gets wedged into the School Space Media video board.
Only a few players that I've seen that can make that shot that deep with confidence and consistency. I think you know them.
I know at least 2.
I'm going to say 3.
Well, the 2 that come to mind, hang on, we've got a steal from Lauren Frost. Can she take it herself? Yes. That's her first basket. The two that come to mind for me are Sarah Scalia and Michaela Van Nett. Who was the third you were thinking of?
Andrea Adams.
Well, I was thinking of current prep players, but...
So we were thinking the same thing.
It's like my old buddy Brian Few said as Jenna Johnson goes up for the layup. Andrea Adams was the truth.
Yes.
And you told me they are retiring her number at Como Park.
They are.
McKenzie lost it, saved it. Frost, what?
So if you want to be a part of that celebration, it'll be at Como Park on February the 5th.
I may have to send assistance because I think I'm assigned to a game that night. But how about Lauren Frost taking a broken play and making a basket out of it?
Absolutely. That's what basketball is about.
Stewart, yes.
And like it said at the beginning, Wayzata's not going to give up. They won't stop until they hear the whistle blow. So if a travel's not called, they're going to keep playing.
Stewart showing her muscle there. 17-footer, and Frost not happy with herself. Arnbeck and Cox go in. Now we mentioned the dogfight in Section 5-4A, which seems to be the case every year. As we said in Section 6-4A, it looks like a showdown between Wayzata and Hopkins. Minneapolis South, 11-1, but their body of work not the same as Wayzata or Hopkins.
Great recovery by Wayzata.
Frost
it was good to see she got there, got in position, didn't foul.
I was going to say Frost has scored all the points for the Pirates in the second half. She went from a goose egg to 6 in a hurry. And the Trojans throw it away again. Park Center with numbers. McKenzie draws the blocking foul.
I thought he was going to call a travel for that foot drag there.
I'm surprised she didn't do a backdoor or kick out. You had 4 and 1.
Yeah. We'll see that develop over the years.
Well, McKenzie, again, an athletic one, and so maybe either that's gusto or just confidence.
Right. And that free throw tied the game up.
And I'm guessing when you were in that situation, there were moments where you felt you could take it all the way.
Right. I think we've all been there.
I haven't because I would be laughed out of the building. The Park Center struggles at the free throw line continue. They're just 5 of 13. But you're right, they do tie the game up at 29 all. Theisen. Park Center rotates. Theisen open. Got blocked. Nothing called. Griffin comes up with it. Park Center.
Nice squeeze underneath there for Park Center. I guess they're making up for the height.
Well, and Park Center used to it because even when the years they had Michaela Hayes, it's not like they had a lot of tall towers.
Right.
Compared to a team like Wayzata. Tartan's another team that comes to mind that makes do with a smaller team. Como Park's another one when they went to state 2 years ago. Griffin is open. Bullseye.
Range.
And it's the Pirates who come out firing to start the second half.
I like the versatility that Griffin is bringing to this team.
Sorry to jump on you. Blakemore. No.
Look at that rebound.
McKenzie goes up, can't get the bounce. Once again, goes back to what Abe was pointing out, those angles. Theisen, she's going to get a good one here. No, she won't. Now it will stay with Wayzata because Kayla Cox stepped out of bounds, but you got to give her props as Schumacher calls a timeout as she got the deflection, denying Theisen a fast break bucket.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I saw you ready to jump out.
Yes.
You're ready to jump out of your shoes there.
Park Center is playing great defense down low, which is forcing Wayzata to rethink their offensive strategy here. And as you can see, it has them on their heels.
Almost literally.
Yeah.
Now, to reiterate, Kayla Cox stepped out of bounds, then touched the ball. It's kind of like in football how you can't be the first person to touch it if you go out of bounds.
Right.
In this sport, you don't get a penalty, but it stays Wayzata ball. But I don't think Barb Metcalf is going to be yelling at her about that.
Right, right. It's a great hustle play.
And it's not a rule that comes up often.
Right.
But Wayzata getting their hands full with this one. Going in, when I talked with Kevin Anderson and a few other folks, we all thought the Trojans would have the edge, and still a long way to go, but Park Center playing with a level of tenacity that is making up for their lack of height, as you noted.
Yeah, their hustle showing. Determination.
And it's not like Park Center hasn't faced quality competition. You get that in the Northwest Suburban with Centennial and Champlain Park, for example. That's going to be a foul on the Pirates. Park Center and Hopkins have had an annual series. They played Minnetonka every year with the holiday invite. Cretin-Durham Hall, a top 10 team. So Park Center has had their tests, and that was just a great inbound feed.
Right, great inbounds. Way to use her body. She did a great job on that seal there.
Jenna Johnson up to 12. But the Pirates have made it clear they are not going to back away. McKenzie, dribble drive, will shoot 2. But McKenzie's had some trouble here. She has split, I believe, on her last 3 trips. Foul is the second charge to Stewart, and I guess if you're Wayzata and it comes down to free throws,
right, you
may consider fouling McKenzie because she has had difficulty knocking them down consistently.
That's fixable. Free throws are fixable.
Park Center 5 of 15, and those missed free throws add up.
Right.
As we've seen many times before.
And they're working and playing so hard that I don't want the story to be if we would have made a few more of those free throws.
DuBois for 3. Got it! And Barb Metcalf told me, in terms of their intensity, she feels if Park Center displayed the level of intensity they show at practice, even at half strength as they're doing here, they would be undefeated. They're showing their intensity, but McKenzie got a little too... I thought I saw her lead with the elbow.
Well, I need to get some glasses then.
I thought she went in there a little too recklessly.
Okay, okay.
I could see your point, but I felt she kind of went in there, barreled in.
Okay.
I think if she pulls back a little bit, probably would get the benefit of the doubt. That's her 3rd foul, unfortunately, but...
Yeah.
We play on.
Yes, we do.
And you and I can disagree about foul calls because we're up here.
Right, absolutely.
I think just overall, I would like to see a little more poise.
Yes.
Don't make it a judgment call in the officials, because whether or not you agree, don't leave it in their hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kayla Cox will be hit with a foul. And they don't have her number up on the board. That is her second, and Barb Metcalf is going to call a timeout, I think sensing her Pirates getting a little disorganized here.
Right, and I think she just wants to take a little time to talk to the refs as well.
11:27 left in the second half, and still neck and neck.
Right, we are. We're just going to talk to her team about playing solid defense so that they can stay out of foul trouble. Or at least that would be my conversation.
Well, they've got 2 players with 3 fouls. On Wayzata's end, you've got Molly Thompson with 3. But Park Center's defense continuing to harass Wayzata, where you see Wayzata right now having difficulty executing on set plays.
And Wayzata likes to go on the inside. and they're reading those passes and they're picking them off. So yeah, they're having difficulty. So their Wayzata guards are going to have to show up.
Park Center getting a tough test here, and you know Section 5 4A is going to be a dogfight, as it usually is.
Yes.
Any of those top 4 seeds, based on QRF, could make their way in. Theisen, no good. She and Kayla Cox tackle each other. It stays Wayzata ball. I was surprised the jump ball wasn't called.
Right.
Jenna Johnson through the slimmest of holes. That makes it 35-33. They have it wrong on the scoreboard. Hopefully they fix that. It's 35-33. Griffin through traffic. Tough angle there.
Yeah.
Johnson again. Too strong.
I thought she had that one. She got past her defender. And nice little bank shot there.
Do you wonder if Park Center, or if it's just Wayzata being rattled here? They've had to go up against this Park Center defense for so long. Is it affecting their psyche? Griffin.
Absolutely can.
Banked it in. Big time three-pointer.
She's going to earn her spot outside of the lane tonight.
And she's a freshman, so like we said, Park Center's future upon us here. Wayzata in trouble again. They get open. Smiley. Oh, Wayzata could have used that three, but Theisen gets in for the O-board. She's double teamed. And that's the 3rd personal foul on Kayla Cox, much to her displeasure. And you're going to see Sommer Blakemore and Lauren Frost go back in. .946 left. Wayzata
and this is going
in trouble.
Get tough here.
But Wayzata has faced this adversity before.
Yes.
Remember, they came back from 15 down at halftime against Hopkins, switched to the zone,
right,
and eked out a 4-point win.
And keep an eye on Griffin, how she's fronting Theisen down in the paint.
Park Center with the steal. DuBois catches up and gets the bounce. Park Center with their largest lead of the game, 40-33, 9:20 to go. And Blakemore fouls Mimi Schrader. Now that is the last to give for the Pirates. So the Trojans will be in the bonus for the final 9:17. And they're 9 of 12 from the line. This could be an opportunity for them to come from behind.
Yeah, and Wayzata goes big now.
Theisen, spin move, yes. Theisen had not scored in the second half until that moment.
Her defensive assignment switched. She realized she had a smaller player on her, which was smart on her part. That was a smart substitution for Wayzata.
McKenzie, that was a tough shot. So 2 freshmen off the bench have 10 points each for the Pirates, McKenzie and Griffin. Wayzata on the run, no good. Smiley is there for the O-board. Theisen pump fakes the 3. What a move!
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did she come down? I wish we had a little instant replay here. So we could at least see. Maybe next year.
Foul is on Griffin. Like I said on Saturday, the pump fake works only every single time. It works for Theisen there. She gets the 3-point play. Could that be the bucket Wayzata was looking for? We shall see. McKenzie. Fade away. Oh, not a good idea against the 6'2" frame of Theisen.
Right.
Didn't have enough space there. Oh, that could have been a foul on DuBois. Remember, Wayzata
like she got
in the
out
bonus.
of there, yeah.
Pirates lead as large as 7. McKenzie times the pass. Goodbye. Are you sure she's a freshman? One thing's for sure, she's got guts. We've seen that on display several times.
Yeah.
Big bucket for the Pirates. Theisen on the other end. Nothing called. Give credit to Park Center's defense. Frost couldn't get the bounce, and that was last touch by Wayzata. But on the defensive end, Park Center taking a few chances, trying to get those blocks. Schumacher calls timeout again. And you're seeing, for the most part, great discipline.
Right.
They're keeping their hands up. They're not leaning in. And maybe there was a foul or two you don't agree with, but Park Center is not making the refs get put into a judgment situation.
Absolutely. And they are playing really great defense.
And no matter how this game ends, I mean, this is going to be a statement from the Pirates. You might have another team to sweat in that Section 5 bracket come March.
Right. And it's great to see that they're, you know, I like knowing that I will be able to come back next year and see pretty much the same lineup.
For both teams.
Right.
Now for Park Center, you know, they do have, you know, Blakemore's a senior, Nicken's a senior, DuBois. Blakemore hasn't decided on a college yet. DuBois going to Concordia St. Paul, so Park Center's going to look a little different, much like they did when Hayes and Schaub and Simonette left, but
they have heat on that bench, though.
Exactly. You've got 2 freshmen coming up in the clutch off the bench.
Right.
And we see, you know, even with the 2-person tandem, look what it did for Stillwater with Adalia and Pratt. You know, the Ponies more competitive than a year ago. Wayzata, they were a 3-23 team 4 years ago. However you want to paint it.
Right.
This is a group that has stepped up. Frost can't bounce it in. Now Wayzata has 2 timeouts left. Park Center has 3. 7 minutes to go, and just a 6-point margin. Ooh, Blakemore got a little too grabby, so free throws coming for Mimi Schrader.
And that's again a bailout foul. She picked up her dribble, and she just kept her hand straight up and not put her hand on the player.
Okay, foul was away from the ball, so it's on McKenzie instead.
Okay.
And that is her 4th. So
that
she'll
stings.
go out. Well, yes, she's going to go out for a while, but Tanae Griffin's going to go in, and Griffin.
There's no slack there.
Griffin has stepped up as well. Says something when your top scorers have been coming off the bench in the case of Park Center. Well, McKenzie starts, I should say. And Stewart knocks down both free throws. Again, that's a strength of Wayzata's. They're 12 of 15, Park Center 5 of 15. Blakemore, kick out, 3 on the way. Off the heel. Rebound is tipped, and getting the putback is Charo Nickens. A fortuitous sequence for the senior. Charo makes it a 6-point game again. And if you're the Pirates, you know, you're the underdog. Every basket counts.
Right.
At this stage. And here's the other problem. If Wayzata is unable to come back, they still have 4 fouls to give. Stewart using her high to her advantage there.
Yeah.
She's up to 8.
Great turnaround. As a post player, you know your defense gets caught on your back. It's a done deal.
Nickens out to Blakemore. Nickens Park Center taking their time. Griffin, shovel her feet.
Let's see how quick she gets it back on defense.
Remember, McKenzie currently sitting with 4 fouls.
Her helpmate.
And deflected by Blakemore. That will stay here. But the Pirates have made Wayzata work for this.
So Wayzata does a great job down low on these inbound passes. They're just turning and sealing.
Wow. Nickens not called for the foul.
Right.
Blakemore goes up. And then a bailout foul. This may be where youth becomes a factor.
Right. And now that we're in the bonus, they can really make up some ground with these free throws.
And they're only down by 4, and Wayzata, as we've noted, they've been clutch, and we see this out of a lot of teams of this construct. Mount Amidai comes to mind.
Right. Shooting free throws gives your team time to take a little breather, get some points.
Wow. And just as we say that, Kallie Theisen missed the front end of a 1-and-1. She has struggled a bit, though, from the line, so the Pirates catch a break.
And they're working her. I mean, she might even be a little frazzled.
Blakemore guarded heavily. And Schumacher gets the timeout in. 4:59 left. Park Center looking a little more disorganized without McKenzie in there.
Right.
But again, this is what Wayzata is known for.
Right.
Clawing their way back from behind.
This is the last 5 minutes. I say put McKenzie in, roll the dice.
And if you're Wayzata, what are your options?
Their guards are going to have to step up. I mean, either Thiesen's she's really showing strength and grit down below, and she's working. She hasn't given up all game, but they're banging her, and they've been banging her all game. So their guards are going to have to show up and maybe run some pick and rolls and dish it to her so that she can get open. So she's just not, because they're fronting her, and it's just not working to get the ball into her.
Mike Schumacher told me every game for Wayzata is a learning experience. That's why they've been able to come from behind against the likes of Hopkins and several other teams this year. That's why they were able to hang with a team like Maranatha. They trail by 4 here. Another deflection, but it will stay Wayzata ball. Wayzata, one of 2 undefeated teams remaining in Class 4A, Eastview the other. Theisen, spin move, what a beauty.
Yeah, once she catches her defender on her back, she's at home then.
And McKenzie will sub in at the next dead ball. Griffin out of control. But they recover. Blakemore, that was partially blocked. Blakemore couldn't release it in time. Wayzata can tie or take the lead here. They'll tie it. Jenna Johnson weaving through traffic. Nobody wanted to chance a foul.
Right.
And is this the Wayzata comeback that they're known for? We shall see.
Park Center's got to take care of the ball right now.
Meghan DuBois floats in the runner. .345 to go. Photo finish brewing. You and I have had our share of those recently.
Yes. Maybe it's us that we bring the thunder. In and out. Good rebound by Johnson.
And Johnson comes up soft on the putback. Scrambled for the ball. Won by the Trojans. Theisen fakes the 3. That's Johnson swishing the 16-footer. And Wayzata's length, again, able to help them out on offensive rebounds. Blakemore. No good. Wayzata with the momentum right now. Smiley uses up the dribble, needs help, finds Theisen. She's got a lane if she goes for it, and she'll shoot 2. The foul will be the second on Griffin. McKenzie's going to go back in.
And for the level of defense that Griffin's been playing this game, it's amazing that she only has 2 fouls. As playing against Theisen.
Barb Metcalf's going to call a timeout. Theisen airballed that free throw. It's a good thing Wayzata's in the double bonus, or
right.
That would have been Park Center ball. So,
as I say, free throws are fixable.
Just as we were talking about Wayzata and their clutch free throw shooting, Kallie Theisen struggling as of late.
Yeah.
So McKenzie will go back in. Remember, she has 4 fouls. And maybe a fitting song choice for how this game has played out. It's been unbelievable. That's all right. That was an early 90s tune. 91, I believe, EMF. So McKenzie going back in.
You have to shake that off.
Theisen. Let's see what happens. Park Center with 2 timeouts left. Theisen gets the second one to fall. Wayzata retakes the lead. 9-2 run. Does Park Center have anything left? Blakemore kicking out. Frost for 3. Got it!
Great patience there. Now, let's see what Wayzata can do offensively here. I think they're going to go back to Theisen.
You called it. She's short. Once again, that length, though.
And Johnson's there to clean up.
Jump ball. Park Center with the arrow.
Theisen shoots. Johnson cleans up.
.211 to go. Nowhere near the time to play foul and chase if you're Wayzata. And again, they still have 4 to give, so they're in a pickle here if Park Center scores again.
Right.
Because they're going to have to foul 4 times before they can get Park Center to the line. McKenzie, fearless!
So,
let's see what Wayzata can do in crunch time.
Yeah.
Smiley to Theisen. They're going high-low. Stewart, got it.
I was going to say, you have to switch it up. They're playing Theisen too tight. And she has another post player that's equally as capable in the game with her. So the high-low's a good look for them.
Park Center resets. Again, they have 2 timeouts. Frost drains the elbow J. What a finish. Both teams making clutch moves.
Yeah.
That's why they are where they are.
So Wayzata's going to want to score.
McKenzie going for the steal. Can she save it? She does. Traveling violation on Blakemore. You can't really fault her for that. Blakemore, did what she could trying to collect the ball, but if nothing else, it takes up a few more seconds off the clock.
Right.
53 and counting, but this game far from over. Schrader. Fans sensing a big moment here. Park Center sealing off the outside. Offensive foul on the Trojans. What have you talked about? The defense of Park Center.
Right.
They make a big stop here. 37.8 left. The Pirates on the precipice of their biggest win of the season.
Absolutely. Defense wins games.
And Wayzata in danger of having their undefeated record
blemished.
Exactly. I'm at a loss for words.
We've had a couple of games like this.
And I got to do this again tomorrow, Holy Angels and De La Salle.
Oh, my.
Everybody was telling me this is going to be a good game. Yeah. Alex, I guess Alex had to stop by to check out this one. Hope you didn't mind. We found that we had... We'll get you in another game, Alex, before the season's out. But the Pirates, underdogs in this one, but Barb Metcalf said it comes down to the intensity they put in practice.
Right.
If they bring it to games, they always have a chance. And Wayzata, as we said before, every game has been a grind.
Right.
This one, no different.
So right now you want to first try to get the 5-second call. If you don't, get the ball in, foul.
Remember, Wayzata does have the possession arrow, so if they can force a tie-up.
Right. So you have options here.
Both teams with the timeout left. Wayzata still has 3 fouls to give. There's one. Now every foul, I believe, at this level resets the 10-second clock. Mm-hmm. They changed it in college, so that's no longer the case. But at the high school level,
yeah.
So Wayzata, they're going to use up the remaining fouls to give here and stop the clock.
And if Park Center could just get rid of the ball quickly and get out of there without turning it over.
And that was dangerous, putting Blakemore in the corner there. I know you're trying to draw fouls, but
stay away from the corners.
What have we said about that baseline?
Yes.
It's defender's best friend. Wayzata still has one more to give.
Oh, dangerous.
There it is. There's a turnover. And one! Kallie Theisen.
Doing what she does best.
And it goes back to what we talked about. Park Center unable to avoid the baseline.
Right.
It's the 4th on DuBois, but
we got to remember to box out the shooter on this if she doesn't make that. We just got to remember to box out, right?
Well, Wayzata's got the hide on their side. 24.5 seconds left. So
we've seen Park Center play great defense before, so they're definitely going to have to do it now for these last 24 seconds.
That defensive strategy for Wayzata paid off, getting the fouls, but the Trojans have no more timeouts. So if they have trouble with the inbound, they cannot stop the clock again.
Right, and kudos to that Wayzata team and their coach being able to go into the huddle, make a transition, come up with a plan, and then execute it. That's not always easy to do.
Now Wayzata has avoided the 3. They like to go inside. If you're the Trojans, do you think about the 3-pointer or do you go for the tie?
I would go for the tie. I would go for the tie. Go with what you know works, what's been working.
I would concur with that.
And Theisen has a hot hand right now, so I think that's where they're going to go to. She's going to make it happen for them.
That being said, we're up here. It's a lot different when you're down there and the clock is running against you. So Wayzata might try a 3, who knows? But I think you're right. Going inside, that's their strength.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if they set up Theisen. Jenna Johnson's had a strong game down low. I would look for one of those two. They're both on the floor right now. Smiley to Theisen. She's double teamed. Jump ball. Wayzata with the arrow.
And they have that nice spin and seal that they do, so they need to be careful. If I was Park Center, I'd put Griffin back in because she does an excellent job defending underneath that basket.
20.4. Again, Wayzata, no timeouts.
Watch the seal.
Theisen has it. Weaving through traffic and scoring. Mimi Schrader. She had not scored. Park Center's got to go. Blakemore. Nope, that's going to be short. And we're going to have overtime. Park Center was this close. But Wayzata's poise, forcing an extra session. And you have to think this favors Wayzata here because you got 2 Park Center players with 4 fouls.
Right. And they have the momentum right now. Wayzata has the momentum. They have the hot hand.
Well, you're up for another 4 minutes.
Here we go.
So each team gets an additional timeout. Park Center will have 2, Wayzata will have 1. Fouls carry over, so Wayzata in the double bonus. Park Center still has to wait to get there. Wayzata only having 5 team fouls, but
right.
That's why,
Here we go.
Like you said, Wayzata never quits. And how about Mimi Schrader? She hadn't scored until that game-tying bucket.
Yes.
And I think any coach would tell you, no matter if you're a Kallie Theisen or if you're last off the bench, always be ready.
Always.
And Mimi Schrader, a junior, you mentioned one of the Schrader triplets who are so difficult to contend with. And for Park Center, you've got DuBois and McKenzie sitting with 4. Park Center had a chance to win it, but difficulty in that final 37 seconds with that foul and chase strategy allowed Wayzata to force OT. Wayzata, they've been in this situation before. They beat Lakeville North in overtime. That's a foul on Blakemore, her 3rd. Free throws coming for Mimi Schrader. Schrader, averaging 8.5 a game. She and Smiley, great rebounders for their position. And I think you said you hoped this game wouldn't come down to free throws.
Right.
Wayzata now 15 of 20. Blakemore has struggled tonight. Nickens gets the O board. Frost, top of the key, missing the 3-pointer.
And so now it's going to come down to fundamentals, just playing your game, playing solid defense, boxing out, taking care of your ball, taking high percentage shots, running through your offense. And you can see that's what Wayzata is doing. They're running through their offense right now.
Schrader missing a 3-pointer. And Wayzata committing a foul. And that's going to be the 4th, I believe, on Smiley, and that is Wayzata's last to give. Now Park Center hasn't done a lot from the free throw line, but still not the way you wanted to give up your last foul if you're Wayzata.
Right.
Even though they played a pretty clean second half and overtime session. Here's McKenzie. High off the window and in!
And if you're Park Center, go at what you know works. Open it up for her.
Still, you're going up against Theisen.
Yeah. But Theisen wants to stay in the game. How many fouls does she have? Does Theisen
Theisen, she's got 2, so she's in no danger. We're tied at 57.
Watch how much contact Theisen's taken down in the paint.
She has been dealing with her share of it. McKenzie's got to be careful with the 4. And Annika Stewart gets the post-up move easily. Frost bounces to McKenzie. She draws a foul on Theisen. Now, McKenzie has been spotty as a free throw shooter, but you at least stop the clock.
Right.
That's the 3rd on Theisen. Like you said, free throws are fixable. And how many times have we seen this?
Yes.
Out of teams that have a lot of talent but just unable to put in the free throws. Now that's a foul you can live with. Again, Park Center 5 of 17. Jump ball, Pirates with the arrow. 1:41 to go.
See if we can capitalize off of this offensively for Park Center, and let's see if Wayzata can get a stop here. Want to talk about it.
Park Center had 2. Timeouts, that is. 1:36 to go. As we mentioned, this is a young team, but you think about the free throws. In the case of Park Center, Como Park, going back to that December game that Alex and I were a part of. Alex checking out the finish of this one. Monamidai hit those free throws when it counted, and then a couple weeks later, couldn't, and Chisago Lakes got the upset.
Right. That's a tough position to be in. If your team's not a good free throw shooting team.
Minneapolis North, the boys team, as successful as they have been, free throws have not been a strength of theirs for years.
But that's fixable.
I hate harping on it, but how many times does it come up in close games?
That's fixable.
That's why I love teams that work on free throw shooting. You never know when you'll need it.
Right.
This could be one of those games.
Yep.
Wayzata 15 of 20, 75%. Not a bad mark. Park Center 5 of 17. That's a lot of points.
Right.
That you left at the line.
And that would not be a passing grade in math class.
No. That's under 30%.
Yes.
But still have a long way to go, and Park Center not out of this yet.
Yep, we still play.
They've got some playmakers. Blakemore has struggled. She has 5. McKenzie's been the hot hand. She's calling for it. Blakemore blocked.
Don't bail her out.
Wayzata can eat a clock here. There's a foul on Frost. Schrader can make this a 2-possession game here.
Right.
Schrader hadn't got on the scoreboard until the final minute of regulation, but she's coming up clutch when it matters most.
Way to step up big time.
Makes both free throws. That might be enough, but we shall see.
And the shooter who can shoot three-pointers is on the bench for Park Center.
They've got a couple. Frost goes up. No good. And that length comes up there. That might be enough.
Yeah.
Wayzata, their length down low, such an asset. And if you're Park Center, unless they get a magical comeback here, I know you hate a game being decided by free throws, but it looks like that's what it's going to come down to, among other things.
Right.
And that's something you're going to think about if Wayzata is able to hang on for this win.
Right.
That was Schrader's first miss. She hits the back end. She's up to 7. Wayzata still hovering around that 75% mark from the line. Time running out. Pirates trying to find an opening. McKenzie too strong. Frost wedged in there. Park Center getting their chances, but they're going to run out of time. So Park Center will fall to 9-6 Wayzata will go to 18-0. You got to give credit to Park Center and their grittiness, but the free throws and Wayzata's height.
Right.
And it's not a knock against Park Center. It's just sometimes it's hard to go up against height.
Right.
Especially in rebounding.
Didn't go deep in their bench tonight. They kind of stuck with
their 8.
Yep. And they didn't quit. They didn't quit all the way to the end.
Well, remember, they've been in this situation how many times before? 5-second call. Well, nope, Wayzata got the timeout in. I mean, either way, 2-possession game, 8.9 left. Right. You're asking a lot at this level of the game.
Well, if it would have been if the possession would have been underneath the basket for Park Center, you drop a play for a 3-point shot, get fouled.
Like I said, you're asking a lot. It's not impossible, but another clutch finish, though, most likely for the Titans. Olivia Arnbeck having a little fun with the Cotton Eye Joe selection. So Wayzata, this is why they're undefeated.
Yep.
If they could handle a 15-point deficit against Hopkins and claw all the way back for a win, you know they're not going to be rattled against Park Center, at least not for long.
And I think that's an attribute for a team to be able to keep their pose. I mean, the crowd, you can see the boys Park Center team is on the baseline there. They're actively involved in the game. You're playing on the road. This Park Center defense is in your face. They kept their cool.
That they did. And Park Center, like I said, free throws, if they make a couple more, maybe a different story, but you know, this is a team in transition. Barb Metcalf said it was a team with big personalities, big hearts, and they've got a bright future ahead of them. Right. You know, when a lot of us thought maybe their best years are behind them.
And we're going to have a meeting at the three-point line.
Could be over the foul tally, or maybe because time didn't go off the clock, and they need to figure out how much remains. And Wayzata, you know, still a month to go, and you know they're not going to look ahead in sections because you're going to likely face Hopkins again. Nobody else, I mean, Minneapolis South, 11-1, but their body of work just isn't the same as Wayzata and Hopkins.
Right.
But they're not going to look ahead at any stage because, you know, they came close a year ago, got out to a lead over Hopkins in the first half in that section final, came up short. They know this is just another game, another.
And Schrader's shown up big in these last 2 minutes here. 9
points, most from the free throw line. Blakemore missing the 3. So Wayzata hangs tough in overtime, just as they planned.
Yes.
They'll run out the clock, 64-58 the final. Mimi Schrader coming up clutch at the end. Kallie Theisen with 21, another fine performance for the junior, and another statement win for the Trojans.
Absolutely.
So congratulations on Wayzata for staying undefeated. We'll see if we can get a word with a few of the players before we wrap things up. This is high school girls basketball. Wayzata defeats Park Center 64-58. And I'm with Mimi Schrader and Kallie Theisen of the victorious Wayzata Trojans. You've been battle-tested all season. Tonight was no different. How did you sweat this one out in OT?
I honestly couldn't tell you. That was kind of crazy. We were down, 7 with 3 minutes left, and then we just made a couple shots, and somehow we managed to stay and put it into overtime, and then we made free throws at the end, but not going to lie, didn't really think that was going to happen.
Kallie, did you know that was going to happen?
Honestly, not really. I think, we just battled hard like we have all season, so it worked out for us this time, so that was awesome.
Mimi, you scored the game-tying bucket with just seconds left and then came up clutch in the free throw line in OT. You hadn't scored at all up until that point. How did you step up?
I mean, just keeping my head. You know, the ball doesn't really have a memory, so I just kept shooting it and shot free throws like I do every day in practice, and they went in. So, I mean, I didn't make a shot the whole game, but just got to keep shooting it.
Kallie, you scored 21 tonight. Had to weather that gritty Park Center defense, but used your height to your advantage in the end. How do you adjust to a team like that?
Yeah, it's pretty hard. You just have to stay strong when they're like coming after you and just finish your shots and keep composed, like Mimi said. So yeah.
You stay undefeated. Of course, you're not. There's a long way to go, especially with sections. But how is the chemistry, the camaraderie of this team manifested where you're 18-0 this year?
I mean, you can see it on the court. No one gets flustered when. I mean, we do have some turnovers and lapses, but. Throughout most of the, not this game, but close games, we come together. Everyone stays level-headed and calm, and I think that's what propels us to pull out close games at the end.
Yeah, I think we just have a really good team culture. We all like each other. We work hard in practice, and so, in games, we're just used to playing with each other, so it just works out.
Well, on the bright side, you guys are so collected in these situations. You're not going to have any gray hairs at the end of the season. Is there anyone you want to say hi to that will watch this game?
I'll say hi to John the janitor. He's at my school, and he watches these replays. So, hey, John, what's up?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Well, congratulations on a well-earned victory. You've had many of them this season, and I know you'd like to have a few more come playoff time, but you gave us a fun one, so congrats on the win, and we'll see if you can keep the streak going.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Mimi Schrader and Kallie Theisen of the Wayzata Trojans, and that wraps up our coverage here from Brooklyn Park. For our entire crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching.